You know what?
What?
I'm going to go to Dr. Stroman because she got sense. I don't want to talk to you no more.
From the basketball court at the
there you go.
University
You're probably
of
right about
Virginia
that.
to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered.
Cool.
Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
D-Stro.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Stroman. How you doing this morning?
Get them, Dr. Stroman. They are. Woo, I need your help.
Y'all need to leave Pam alone. Queen's sister is doing quite all right, and I'm sure she's managing the suitors. Okay,
Absolutely.
So let's keep it off the radio.
Wait.
Keep it off.
Okay.
I guess we just got to sit outside.
I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Time out.
Well, the other thing, y'all have to remember, business professional folks are working by 7:30 in the morning. And we're trying to get some work done and listen to you all, but y'all keep us in stitches. I didn't even get half of the things I needed to get done because of the sports shop. But that's why I love you.
Well,
we do our best, Dr.
we do our best. We do our best to be consistent that
Keep
way.
you laughing.
Well, you do that well. As always, there's lots to discuss. Everything from Steph Curry last night showing his roughneck side, showing the mouthpiece in, and then the pizza delivery guy walking on the court at Duquesne. But the latest, really, it's pretty. It's laughable, but it's also dangerous.
Yes.
But we've been talking on, and I want to just go with a different perspective about this matter. Should HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, even offer highly competitive football? So here are my points.
Okay.
First off, the mission. Title III of the Higher Education Act of 1965, that was when Congress officially said that an HBCU is any university that's accredited and was established before 1964. And the principal mission was to educate black people, African Americans.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we know the history, even though we have Governor DeSantis and others saying, we don't want to talk about this. Our history doesn't matter. It doesn't have any value. There were no other options for us. Jim Crow, legal segregation was in play.
Right.
Plus the false narrative that that African Americans were inferior, were less evolved and not worthy. So that's why the schools were established. Today, there's, this number varies, but the latest records I saw, there's about 107 HBCUs in our country with more than 250,000 students enrolled.
Okay.
It's about 50-50 in terms of public and private. So the mission is to educate students.
Correct.
Now, we know the history of athletics, physical education on college campuses because that indeed is education. Mind, body, spirit, right?
Yeah.
We have to learn about the body. The second point is cost. Schools today, most universities are funded through tuition, single source funding, right? Tuition and fees.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've been at Carolina. I've been back as a professor since 2007. And it seems like every few years, the students start complaining about why are we paying so much for athletics. Currently, UNC students pay about $280 a year for athletics. Do the math. I mean, how many undergrad students times 280? Yeah, we're talking millions. NC State pays about $232 for athletics. Our very dear Central Eagles, they pay about $50. That's a lot of money for some students.
And they don't even get free
the
tickets.
Athletic department. And knowing not all of them can get the tickets or the seats or their schedules are demanding. And now I'm not saying get rid of student fees, but what I'm saying is these are the things we have to consider. So who was our poster school for all of this? Spelman. You might remember a wonderful HBCU down in Atlanta, women's only.
Yep.
2012, Spelman said, this is crazy. They decided to eliminate college athletics, withdraw from all NCAA competition, and focus instead on a campus-wide wellness initiative. Their focus is fitness. So rather than dedicate resources to programs that were only serving about 4% of Black women of Spelman's 2,000 students. They decided, let's take care of everybody. Now, when you think about healthcare and Black people, we know the disparities, just like there are ones for Asians and Latinos and indigenous folks.
Sure.
But just one point that they mentioned, well, 2 points. 44% of Black women over the age of 20 have high blood pressure, according to the CDC. Black women are more than twice as likely as white women to develop type 2 diabetes. So that is education, and that's really putting your money where your mouth is. The next point, look at the funding that's going away from states. You know, being an undergraduate, graduate of University of Virginia, we now basically tell people we're a private university. The state of Virginia has stopped funding UVA to the point now it's only about 6% of UVA's entire budget.
What?
That's a private school. UNC is on its way. It keeps going down and down and down. Right now, it's anywhere from 13 to 16% comes from the state. So as much as everybody who pays taxes in the state is really a Tar Heel because you're funding Carolina, or I guess you could say you're Wolfpack, you're funding NC State, the dollars are dropping. And these dollars that are dropping, it creates more tension, more trauma between presidents and chancellors and board of trustees and traditional students now beefing with athletes, right? I remember hearing comments about some of the students at Jackson State. Well, Deion Sanders, he didn't help us at all. You know, it's just the beefing, the fussing back and forth is getting worse. And then lastly, lack of alumni donations. HBCUs struggle with funding. Alumni, and I know we can always say, well, most students who go to HBCU do not come from wealthy backgrounds. And so it takes a while to get your career going and to be able to give back. But there's something bigger than that. There is not a strong culture at most HBCUs to give back, to pay, as in open up your wallet and your purse. So in conclusion, unless you have a Deion Sanders, what are we doing? Everything ain't for everybody. Education first. There's amazing flag football programs. There's intramural football, and there's club football where students get together and play other universities. In fact, there's a National Club Football Association. And then, of course, the other idea is just go to another school if you want to play big-time football.
Wow.
That's it.
This is
I got a lot to talk about on this one, Dr. Stroman. You were the one convinced us that sports was the front porch.
Yep. You said that a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Sports. Did I say highly competitive football at HBCUs?
Well, I mean, don't pick and choose now. I mean, don't do that. I mean,
Perhaps to critical analysis.
Oh, that's not fair, Dr. Stroman. Now you see,
fair.
it feels like you picking on
Dr.
football.
Stroman.
Football is one of the most. Football makes the most money out of any competitive sport on any college campus.
But not at HBCUs.
Well,
in comparison, it does.
Let me say this.
No.
Let me say this, and just to agree with K-Mac on this one, it depends on now. If you have a successful program, you're gonna get the money from the alumni. Alumni, they thrive on that sport. And the chancellor from North Carolina Central was on in studio with us last week. It talked about the fact that they won a Celebration Bowl and $2 million in 1 month. And I talked to the lady who's over that piece of North Carolina Central Saturday, talking about she thinks it's going to increase. It's going to be more this month.
Wow.
All as a result of the pride that went into that football team winning that football game. So I think
I have a question. A question. When was Central founded?
1910. I know what you're saying. I said if you have a successful program that's sustained over a period of time, it pays for itself.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Right.
I'm saying it took 2022-23 for NC Central, a chancellor, and I have all due respect for Dr. Kinley, to understand the power of this. Yeah. And again, Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree was pleading, begging for this years ago, probably the AD before that.
Okay.
It takes a special, unique, a Central winning a bowl of Deion Sanders, the tradition of Grambling, all of that.
Okay.
But this is 2023. Look what's happening to our schools.
I would think that the popularity of HBCUs and where it is right now, That's a paradigm shift, and I think you're going to see some improvements in the areas where you said there's some deficiencies are. That's
going in the right direction.
Right, it's going in the right direction. That's what I think.
Now, y'all better wake up.
Dr. Stroman,
my eyes wide open.
Dr. Stroman, that $230 that you talked about, so that's a part of the tuition. That's the $230.
Yeah, they charge the students.
So if it's $15,000 annual, I mean, tuition, $230 is that right? Would be.
Let's say it's $250 per year for the students. I thought it was per semester, but let's be kind. Let's say it's $250 per year for what, 20,000 students? Do the math.
So say they're on campus. Say that every student has to pay for this tech fee, right? This which includes the Wi-Fi and all this other stuff there.
That's all wrapped up in the student fees. There is a separate fee for athletics. That's what I'm saying. That's how powerful athletics are.
But it's a line item just like everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Say that was, I don't know, $200, $250.
Right.
I mean, a third of them probably use it because most of them probably stay on campus. They don't use it. Yeah. So we wouldn't do the same thing to that technology fee.
Yep.
That would be included there. Yep. And I would like to say that for that $230, having that many sports, if you have all of the sports on campus, having that many sports does more for the university than it ever could do not having it.
I agree.
I think what we're doing is mixing my position here. I am not saying that athletics doesn't have value. I'm a product of it. I support it. I'm being specific to HBCUs and where we're struggling. The money is drying up on these campuses.
And that's because of football. Wait a minute.
The administration is busting. The football players have moldy, and not everywhere, but they have mold and sharing helmets. We have to think. We need to be critical thinkers in terms of what is providing, how is this helping all of our HBCUs, not the ones where it's working. There are some schools where it's working, not all of them.
See,
Dr. You don't cut the science. You wouldn't cut the science program. Say the labs or the NDK, the desk are falling apart. You wouldn't say let's cut the science program. You would say we need to get better
Mac,
funding.
Are you trying to compare varsity sports with a chemistry department?
No, but I think.
But you wouldn't cut a program because there's issues with the program. Say a chemistry department
are ancillary to the mission of a university.
But they're an integral part of the student experience.
Not at every
Let me help you out. There are some students there because of the athletic program. Wait a minute. There are some students in that school because of the athletic program. There are some students there because of the chemistry program. They got scholarships to go there because of chemistry. They got scholarships to go there because of basketball.
You are talking about big-time sports. UNC, Duke.
They got scholarships at HBCUs. Hell, I went to school on a scholarship at HBCU.
You're going to tell me that most students who go to HBCUs are going because of the football program? I can't believe you would say that.
No, I'm saying that. Well, I tell you, I went to my school because I got a scholarship to that school.
Because you're an athlete.
Right.
Yes.
That's my point. So the athletes are students too.
Most students aren't varsity athletes.
So here's a question, Dr. Stroman.
Okay.
So
I want to hear from Pam.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, you hear from Pam. You don't want to hear from me and K-Mac.
I actually agree with them this time. Just because of the importance of sports. So if you took it out, like go back to the example of the $2 million that just came in and more for this coming month. If you took out that program, then where does the university stand with fundraising? If the alumni, not everybody, but if the majority of the fundraising raises or increases with a great athletic program, and you don't have that, then where's the money coming from?
I'm not doing a good job of making it clear of what I'm talking about. I am not speaking about Central now that they just won a Celebration Bowl. Look at what is going on at HBCUs.
You are correct.
You're talking about programs that are doing it. They just got national attention. The campus love. I'm talking about these schools like Bethune-Cookman. I'm talking about schools that are struggling. And yet they're still trying to have a football program. There's ways that these young people can play football. It doesn't have to be at the expense of students who are there to learn. And they don't go to football games. Okay. They can't even field half of a band. Stop thinking about Central. Stop thinking
I'm not thinking about Central. What I'm thinking about is the programs you talk about getting rid of or alleviating is the only pathway to a lot of kids to get to school.